So if you're trying to lose weight, but find yourself constantly starving, even though you are actually eating 2 to 3 meals a day, you're likely going to get advice from people saying, eat more protein because it's more filling, or eat more fruit and vegetables because they're highly nutritious and therefore also quite filling. But today I'm actually going to share with you some weirder tips which are still backed up by science and evidence, so you know that I'm not chatting shite, which can actually be used to help you feel a little bit more fuller, feel more satisfied, and therefore not only reduce the risk of you overeating on calories later on in the day and therefore losing fat, but also helps you lose fat without feeling like utter garbage. Now, before you throw in the towel and assume that you're just going to be starving forever whilst trying to lose fat, make sure that you DM me the word satisfied on Instagram, and I'll send you my free satiety checklist so you can literally tick off all the things that you can outdo, which will help you feel a little bit fuller for longer. But right now, let's dive into some tips on how you can feel fuller for longer, which not a lot of people will tell you about. So here's the deal. The plate that you eat from can actually impact how hungry you feel or how full you feel. I know it sounds like total bollocks, but there's a lot of research done into it, believe it or not. Studies have shown that a higher visual contrast between the food that you're eating and the plate that you're eating on can actually impact your satiety. It can enhance the perceived flavour of the food, so it might taste a little bit better. It can increase the intensity of the taste. And most importantly, it can actually impact a greater feeling of fullness. So let's say, for example, you're eating something dark, such as a stir fry or beef or anything like that. Put it on a light or white plate. Or if you're having something lighter, such as rice or chicken breast, put it on a darker or black plate. It's not magic. It's psychological. Your brain literally interprets the higher contrast as more food, which increases the satiety even if the volume of food hasn't actually changed in and of itself. Now let's talk a little bit about plate colour. Another study looked into how the colour of a plate may impact the feeling of fullness. They found that blue coloured plates actually impact appetite as much as reducing the feeling of fullness, which kind of explains why Wetherspoons using those weird white and blue pattern plates, don't they? Because they want you to eat more food. They want to sell more food rather than being full up. Meanwhile, red or black plates have the opposite effect. They actually increase food satiety and therefore reduce calorie intake. Why? I'm going to be fully honest with you. The exact mechanisms at the moment are currently unknown. But researchers believe it has something to do with the contrast, the mood of the colour, and the way that certain foods and certain colours trigger certain eating behaviours. So if you're somebody who's finishing a meal and still feeling hungry, it might be worth ditching the IKEA blue plates and trying to find a black or red one to eat off instead. Now let's talk about one of the oldest psychological hacks and one of the most well-known optical illusions out there, the Delboeuf illusion. If you don't know what that is, I'm just going to leave this picture here and I guarantee you know what it is. Basically, the two circles in the middle are the exact same size. The reason why they look like different sizes is just the circles around them. Notice how the smaller circle makes the circle in the middle seem a little bit bigger, whereas the bigger circle makes the smaller circle look smaller. Now, if you apply that same concept to plates and food. For example, if you serve your food on a smaller plate, your brain will perceive that meal as being bigger and more filling, but put that same food on a larger plate and the portion will look tiny, therefore having the opposite effect. This is why so many bodybuilders, especially when they're deep in a fat loss phase, will start eating their meals off of smaller plates, smaller bowls, and also using smaller spoons. It's not to be dramatic, it's because it works. Your brain associates a full plate with a full stomach. It's a psychological trick which pretty much works on a lot of people, including yourself. So how do you actually apply all of this? Here's your quick checklist. Use smaller plates or bowls when you eat your main meals. Create colour contrast between the food that you're eating and the plate that you're eating off. Dark food on light plates, light food on dark plates. Avoid blue plates as best as you can. Try to use red or black plates a little bit more if you can get your hands on some. This will help increase satiety as well as reduce craving. And also, be a little bit more mindful about how your food looks. The more visually appealing your food will look, and the more complete it seems, the more full you'll actually feel. You can try all of this literally today without actually changing the amount of food or the amount of calories that you're consuming. And therefore, you'll probably notice that you're not reaching for the snack drawer half as much. Look, losing weight doesn't mean that you have to walk around feeling hungry all day, every single day. And sometimes it's about not eating less, but eating more smartly. And these visual cues that you can use, your plate size, the colour, the food contrast, they can give your brain all the signals it needs to start feeling a little bit more full. So if you are struggling with hunger, hunger, don't just push through it and hope it fades. Start using tricks like this, and hopefully that helps a little bit as well. And if you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for more content exactly like this, and make sure that you follow my Instagram at k.p_health. Peace.